Good morning, Floss Tube. I hope you are having a wonderful Saturday morning. It's still pretty early for me, so I figured I'd get this done before I start the laundry and after my house chores. Let's see. J9 Ruth L asked to see what was in my bin of shame, and it's just kind of where I throw all my finished projects layered in there. Kind of fun. So, why not? Let's go through the good old bin of shame. This first one is called Garden of Love, and I stitched it with the called for silks, and I'm not really sure I recall which fabric it's on. Not really sure. Stitched this a while ago. There was a group who was doing a year of smalls, and so every month they did a different small, and I saw this one on that blog and I thought it was super cute, and so I had to do it too. I remember I stitched that one mostly in church. That was one of my church stitches. Let's see. The next one is a Vivavco kit, pansies of course, and I think I stitched this way back in 2012, 2013, something like that. Anyway, it's just stitched on the Ada that came with the kit. I'm thinking about having it be the next one that I frame and hang it in my bedroom where all my other little pansy stitches are. So it's you know, a theme room, all pansies all the time. Let's see. This is a Lizzie Kate pattern. My favorite time of the year. I saw in one of my LNSs where they had added all the fun little buttons, and they let me take a picture of it, and then I remembered and kind of added buttons here or there wherever I wanted to. I don't recall exactly when I finished that or the count. It looks like a 28 count, just a neutral something or another that I had in my stash. This one is one of the another Lizzie Kate. This was a church stitch this year. Chicks. I didn't have the purple it called for the chicks, so I just used something out of my stash, and I think the variegation went a little too light there in the middle, so you can barely see what it says. I can't see what you guys see, so I am hoping that you guys get a good look at it here with the my big old piece of white cardboard, so it doesn't show through the holes. This one I'm going to show to you anyway. I didn't stitch it. My mom is a quilter, and she paper pieced this. I'm going to have to stand up, I think. This big nativity scene. I just keep it in my bin of shame because it's a good, convenient place to keep it. It stays flat, it stays nice, and I get to pull it out once a year and hang it on my wall. Sometimes it hangs on the wall permanently, just because I love it so much. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing that Mom has made for me. She made a lot of them. There's like 4, 8, something like that. And she gave one to all of her siblings and all of her kids. This one, I think we start mostly new to old. This is Sea Flora. Oh, she's going to be just a little too tall. I'll scoot her down a bit. This is Sea Flora from Nora Corbett, I think. I finished her up this year, but I stitched most of her last year in 2015. Oh, those wonderful beads. I stitched her on a 32 count, what is this, water lily, because I like the soft green of the water lily linen. It's really pretty. And like all of the Mirabilia Nora Corbettes, the 32 count is just a little bit too tight for the size of the Mill Hill beads that she's called for. So in a lot of places, I just sort of made it up. I made it look kind of like it should, but wasn't really worried about absolute perfection on where the beads go, just so it looked kind of close. So in some areas where it called for like 7 or 8 beads, there might only be 6. You know, I just took a few out, adjusted it as I went so that it would fit better. All right, here we go. I think This is, I forget what this is called. It's definitely a shepherd's bush pattern. And as you see my signature down there, I stitched it in 2011. This is when I was having to sell my condo up in Bountiful, Utah, because I was unemployed and had been unemployed for like 15 months, and it was a thing. Anyway, I remember stitching this mostly at the local public library while my house was being shown to people. The library was just across the street, so it was easy to walk across the street and sit and stitch for an hour or two while my house was being shown, and then walk back over. This is high on the list of ones that I want to have framed soon. This one, oh, this is a fun one. I saw somebody else had stitched this in Stitch Mania. This is the Horde symbol from World of Warcraft. I play Warcraft, I play Horde. This one I did on, what was it, 10 count Tula. I ended up using 6 strands of floss over each little square just so I would get the coverage I wanted and it wouldn't show anything through. I plan on making this into a wall hanging, you know, just red trim around the edges. I have to ask my best friend to help me because she is really, really good with sewing. And while I do have a sewing machine, mostly I use my sewing machine to zigzag the edges, and that's about it. Here we go. Another Lizzie Kate. I think I might have a slight Lizzie Kate addiction. Well, I know I do. And the funny thing is when I got back into cross stitching in the early 2000s, I, would look through 1, 2, 3 stitch, and I didn't like Lizzie Kate at all. I just, not interested. Too primitive, not enough pansies, I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I love Lizzie Kate now. I stitch a lot of her things. So this is Halloween Rules. And I stitched it on a 32 count Wild Berries opalescent linen by Sassy's Fabbies. I don't think Sassy is producing her fabrics anymore. This one I started it a long time ago, and then it got put to the back and I didn't stitch on it for quite a while. I know that's not quite as good a look as you want. Anyway, and so I finished it up. You're in the way, Sweet Pea. My cat. Anyway, I finished it up as my at-break lunch project, and I think I ended up doing about a square a week. Depending upon how much time I have for lunch, I might have maybe 20 minutes to 40 minutes at lunch after I eat. So that's how it goes. Let's see. This year, this was also a finish it up at lunch stitch. This is The Jingles by Lizzie Kate. And it is on a 32 count raw opalescent linen. I really love the raw opalescent or the raw gold. They're just really quite fun. I just noticed that I need to stitch in the windows up there at that top little house. Oh well, one more thing to do. Anyway, so this was finished up as my at-work lunch project. I'm going to drop it here in a minute if I'm not careful. So there we go. There is all of the tingles right down to the little bottom bit of lace. So that was a fun stitch. I enjoyed that. I love how one, they all fit together, and two, every time you finish a little ornament bit, it's like you have a finish. These are funny. Just show these. Two of my I think my sister stitched this one. I'm not sure who stitched this one, but these were done back in the 80s when Mom was teaching my sister and I how to stitch. And I still have them in the bin of shame, just laying here. Here's my very first thing that I've ever stitched that I still have, back in 1985. I would have been young. Anyway, it's cute. It's dirty. It needs to be washed, but 9-year-olds, what do we know about clean hands? Alright, here we go. This is a little Easter, another Lizzie Kate kit. I completed this year, and I think it was another Sunday stitch. Just sitting there at the back of the at the chapel, doing my thing. There you go. That should be good. Anyway, that one. I've had a lot of finishes this year just because I finally decided to actually put the time in. And before I would just sit and watch TV and do nothing, or play computer games and do nothing. But I don't know, my stitchy bug is back with a vengeance here. This is Be My Valentine. This is a shepherd's bush little chartlet that has 3 other patterns on it. I've done one of the other patterns, and I finished this one as a Sunday stitch. It's cute. I worked on and on that one for a little bit. And then, let's see, here's my other Lizzie Kate. It's tiny. It's just tiny. It could probably go on a lid or something. Maybe make it into a pincushion. A pincushion would be really quite lovely. Cutie pie. This one, I think, was designed by a local lady. I haven't seen it really everywhere else, but I forget her name. And it says, wrong way, here we go. Stand ye in holy places and be not moved until the day of the Lord come. From Doctrine and Covenants. So I modified it a little bit. She had a Salt Lake Temple stitched there where the building is, and I sort of modified it a little bit to look more like the Provo Temple. So there we go. Stand ye in holy places. That's also a shepherd's bush conversion on the colors. I think the original is charted in bright, clear colors, and the shepherd's bush lady did it in the more softer, muted colors, and it's really quite lovely. Here is just a giant initial K. This is from Lizzie Kate, has ABC Crazy, I think it is, and it's just an alphabet with these letters in it. And I stitched on a 28 to a, no, not a 28 to a 10 count. And then it was still going to be too small, so I upped it. So like you guys do skin 1/1, well, I went in the reverse. So each one block became 4. So I upscaled it really quite big. And I just chose some favorite flosses, and I discovered that I didn't like the spiraling pattern, because I tested that out when I was stitching that, because normally, you know, when you use depending upon how you use the variegated floss, it either goes back and forth or up and down. So I tried to spiral, and I don't like the spiral very much. More Lizzie Kate, because, I mean, really, why not? This is Christmas ABCs, and it is on the 28 count raw gold linen with the called for flosses. You can see I haven't taken out my, well, maybe not. Can't see what you said, but I still have my middle gridding in. One day I'll get that framed. I have a whole bunch of I have 2 of the Christmas things framed, and one still needs to be framed. What you doing, little cat? You gonna jump into the garbage can and then be offended when it falls over on you? Yeah? Well, you know, it's your choice, not mine. This is Long Halloween. I forget the name of the designer, but I stitched it on a Weeks Dye Works. Oh, orange. Obviously it's orange, because right there it is. I'm going to turn it on the side so you can see it a little bit better. It's upside down. Can you guys read upside down? I sort of can. Anyway, we made it into a long hanger. I stitched 3 at a time, so one for me and then one for each of my sisters-in-law. They absolutely love Halloween, so sometimes for Christmas I give them a Halloween ornament. This is another absolutely adorable one. This one I also stitched 3 of, one for me and one for each of them, so that they could have a Halloween ornament for Christmas. I forget what she's called. Anyway, it's in there somewhere. If you guys have questions, you can leave a question down in the comments, and I will not be a lazy girl, and I will go hunt down and start doing links in the comments as to exactly what these things are that I've stitched. This is, oh, this is turned over backwards. Let's get this one. This is by the Victoria Sampler, and it is their Heirloom Nativity. Go right down here, and I think I stitched this on a 28 count or a 32 count. I don't know. I stitched it on something. It's really a light blue, nicely modeled. I used the Callforth silks. I actually used their what are they called? Their packets. So you could get like the little packets that had enough floss and enough beads that you needed. And all I had to buy was some of the pearl cotton, an 8 and a 12, for the hardanger bits that were down at the bottom. So for this project, I took a hardanger class, and I dragged my best friend along with me, and she loved it, and I didn't love it so much, but since she did love it so much, she was so kind, and she did the hardanger down there on the bottom for me. I am so grateful for her to have done that. This one is just, it's really pretty, and I really need to get it framed. There's a local frame shop here in town, not associated with Michael's or Joanne or any of that, who I've been taking some of my stuff to, and they just had a 20% off coupon in the mail. So maybe I will have to go down there and take that with me and let that be that one for the month. This is a cute little heart freebie. It was a freebie on the Welshit website a long time ago. Geez, 4 or 5 years ago. I kind of looked for it because it's supposed to have beads, and I have lost my printout of the pattern, and so I don't know where to put the beads, but it's adorable and it's cute, and it's just one of those things. I find that I try to do one thing for Valentine's Day every year. I don't know why, because I don't really like Valentine's Day, but you know, whatever. All right, this is Joy from Lizzie Kate on a 28 jade. I think it's a Lugana, either a Lugana or a Jobelin. I'm not real sure, but it's not linen, so it's softly modeled and super cute, and all the buttons and things. Adorable and fun. I stitched that while I was trying to sell my house all those many years ago. And this is also Lizzie Kate, I think. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. All those little ornaments and things. I love it. So adorable. Turn that over here. Here we go. This is the Christmas Mystery Stitch, Hearts and Hollies, from Lizzie Kate from Runway a couple years ago. I don't think. It's not going to show all very well. But anyway, I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all year through. So, I finished this up while I was being a dresser for the local production of, what was that? Oh, Les Mis. So when I was not running around trying to get actors in and out of their costumes on time, I would sit back in the dressing room that I was assigned to and stitched on that for a little bit. Here's a cute little Home Sweet Home thing that I stitched when I was still in the 2000s, when I was still in college, getting my degree in accounting. Cute, cute, cute. It took me forever because I was in school and I wasn't really determined or serious about it. Here is a little tiny Christmas ornament that says Mary on it. This was in one of the ornament magazines from Just Cross Stitch. Really cute. Just did it on a purple gingham. Simple, simple. I tried my hand at stitching in breadcloths. So here's 2 gingerbread guys on a breadcloth. which I think is it's not a 14 count. Those little squares are too small. Well, it might be. I don't know. Bread cloth. That was cute. This one, I smile, but I made a mistake. So by the pricking of my thumb, something this wicked this way comes. I used a lovely mottled purple for the shoe. This is a Silk Weaver Solo, so I don't know what it was, and I earned it. It came in a trade a long time ago, and the margins are so narrow on this side and that side that I don't know that it can be framed, so I might turn it into a wall hanging. But I should have selected a darker floss for the words, because you kind of lose them the farther back you go. But that one makes me smile whenever I see it. Well, most of my stitching makes me smile whenever I see it. Right? Right? Otherwise, what's the point? This is, I always think of this as Spooky Treats, but I think it's Boo Club from Lizzie Kate. So, Spooky Treats, Black Cat, I can't see what that is. Eek, candy, pumpkins, frightful. Well, we're making a mess. Okay, here we go. So I stitched this one. Looks like it could use a trip through the iron again for all my little hoop marks that are on it. So that's that from Lizzie Kate. My goodness, I have more Lizzie Kate stitched up than I thought I did. Oh, this little Halloween pumpkin head jack-o'-lantern guy I stitched up. This is another one that I've stitched up, one for me and one for my two sisters-in-law. My two sisters-in-law got the finished one, and I just haven't got around to finishing up mine yet. Alright, one more Lizzie Kate. Hello, cat. You gonna try to sit on the stuff? I wish you wouldn't. Alright, here we go. This is the mystery sampler from a couple years ago. Anyway, very scary, I think was the name of this one. It's fun. I think I stitched it on. It's either a 28 count or a 32 count, which are my two go-to counts. Haunted, I think? I don't really remember, and it was before I really started keeping track of things. Just, you know, a fabric. It was pretty. It was cute. I did a little bit of modification down there, as you can see on the border. I think they had something different going on, and I didn't like it, so I just bent it around with the... Oh, this I think came all the way down to the edge, and I think it was all the acorns or something across the bottom. Anyway, I didn't like it, so I brought the satin stitched mountains down and rolled them around the bottom, sort of to make it look more cohesive. And it wasn't all that cohesive. These, now there are 4 of these stocking kits from various places. I think this came out of a cross-stitch magazine of some sort. So that's my grandmother's name, and she loves to bake. So she is with us, so it's not really in memorandum of, but sort of in honor of, I guess I will say, this wonderful Mrs. Claus baking stocking. I think the designer is Joan Elliott. It certainly looks like her style, but I could definitely be wrong. It's been forever since I stitched that one up. This one, pull this out of the box. They're all laying down. Whoops. Yeah, that's just the one. That's just the one. This is for my other grandmother, who has passed on. But she absolutely loved to garden. So here we have Santa in his potting shed. And this was a kit. And I worked on this for a while. And I had this grand idea that when I would get them done, I didn't want them sewn up into stockings, but to get them framed with the mat cut, you know, around a stocking shape. haven't got that far on them because I wanted to do one for my grandparents and my parents and my siblings, and now my siblings are married, and so for their spouses, and then one group is having kids, and I don't think I'll ever catch up. So this one was for my brother. Snowman, a bunch of family, just to hang on my wall. Really cute. I'm like halfway done with the stocking for my other brother. But one day my dad asked, so how many stitches are in that? And I kind of got to looking at it, and I knew one 10 by 10 block was 100 stitches, and then I started doing math, and then I was overwhelmed, and I put that stocking away, and I have not touched it since, which is hilarious because I know I've stitched other stuff, you know, at the time, and that's just as big, so I really should, you know, just pull it back out and do it again. This is one. Noel is nobody in our family, but I love the nativity, and I have a couple different stockings with nativity scenes on, and so I thought I would do like Noel on one and maybe Grace on another, you know. Lovely holiday, Christmassy related names. I love this one. This one I started a long time ago, back when I was starting to learn how to cross stitch. So here Joseph's red is kind of the center of the pattern. And if you look real close, some of the X's are going one way and some of the X's are going the other way. As I was trying to figure out what I was doing and how this worked and this and that, but as it moves out towards the edges, it gets a lot more solid and all the X's start going the same way, and it amuses me. But I love it because of that. You know, I don't care that it wasn't perfect at the time. I was learning. It's a learning piece. Let's see. This is a cute little shepherd's bush. Oh, there we go. It says trick or treat with all sorts of buttons on. And I think I did this on water lily linen as well. I love I love that soft green from water lily linen. I use it on a lot of stuff. I could probably use another trip to the iron as the hoop marks are showing up. Alright, I don't know what the best thing to do for this next set. This all came from the same Mill Hill. We'll grab you. Maybe we won't do you. Lost my train of thought. The same Mill Hill booklet. It's a Christmas booklet, and of course everything is just beaded up the wazoo, and I spent a lot of time stitching on these at church. So here we have, whoops, wrong way, a little sheep, and a donkey, and a happy cow with a bell. All those three. Let's get here's our wise men. You, and you, and you, all lined up. So there's our wise men with all their beads and all their jewels, and it's trying to fall off. Anyway, so our wise men, and then finally we have two shepherds and the family. Right here, so that'll work. There we go. So we have this little shepherd boy. Here's Joseph and Mary and the baby. And here's our other shepherd. I had originally thought that I would do those in little stuffed standees. You know, little stuffed toys, and hang them up somewhere, but that hasn't come to pass because I am not good at finishing. But then I saw, I guess it was Vana's flat fold tutorial the other day, and I thought, oh, I could probably do that with those, but I'm still a little kind of timid about it, so I haven't done anything yet. This is a cute little heart freebie that I did one year for Valentine's Day, because I do that even though I hate Valentine's Day. This was the second time that I stitched this pattern. My Grandma Jean had passed away a little bit earlier in the year, and I stitched one just like this, and finished it up and tucked it into her coffin before we buried her. Heart failure, so I stitched her a new heart since the old one had failed. This one was a traveling pattern, Thankful for You. I forget where it came from or anything like that, but you put your name in a drawing on the 1, 2, 3 stitch message board, and then the pattern got sent to you, and then you put your name in the thing when whoever else was done and send it on. No, maybe it went through blogs. I think it went through blogs. Anyway, I stitched this one in 2012 when my sister and I headed off to Europe. We went to Italy, Florence and Venice specifically. And so the traveling pattern did some traveling. It went with me. Here we have a little Christmas. The most wonderful time of the year. Stitched on a hot pink background. My goodness, it really is pink. From one of the Christmas ornament books that has come out. We're down to the last 2, you guys. The last 2. Here we go. Be Mine, another cute little heart freebie from somewhere that I stitched. And then Bazinga, because I love Sheldon and he's kind of hilarious. Well, I enjoy the whole show. I get a lot of the math humor and whatnot. Anyway, both of those stitched on the same fabric, as it were. And that is everything from my bin of shame. Everything that needs to be finished up or framed or, I don't know, something done with. So, I hope you have a great Saturday. I'm going to return to my project over here. Wrong side. Over here. And finish tagging and bagging all of my flosses from my big haul last week. I'm still working on that. And the cat is going to wander around and see what's going on. Please don't jump on those. Thank you. And I hope you have a great stitchy day. So, hugs and stitches. Bye!